Hi, welcome to Down the Track on InView TV. My name is Bruce Mott and I'm your host, as you know. Been with you for a few weeks now, and we're up to episode 8 in our series on Jordan White. I've got Jordan here. We've got a lot to talk about. We're now up to the very last race in the WA State Championship. I want to talk about that. I want to hear how Jordan's going. Is he still in the battle to win the championship? Things are all over. Let's talk about how he's gone in the last meeting at Collie and what he's got planned for the future. Hey Jordan, how are you going?
I'm good, thanks, Bruce. How are you?
I'm good. Jordan, we've got a lot to talk about. I'm going to set the scene. So I've got my notes over here. We're going to talk about the 400 Production Championship. You are the reigning champion, I should say. And there's 2 races to go leading into Collie. So from my understanding, you are actually coming second in the points at the moment and only just hanging on to a chance to keep your championship and to successfully defend it. Is that right? You're a few points behind and you're just hanging in there?
Yeah, so from the setbacks I had a few rounds ago with the brake disc, it set me back quite a lot. And coming in, I'm sort of clinging onto that hope to keep the championship alive and have to nail the rest of the season to come out with the win if that's the case.
Right. Okay. So you've got to do it the hard way. There's 3 races in the round at Collie, as there is at all round of the state championship. 3 races. You have to win at least one of them. At least one of them to keep the championship alive. You're up against a champion that races a lot at the Collie Motorplex. You race there, not as much as you do at Wanneroo, and you have to win at least one of the races. Going into the first race, tell us all about it.
So yeah, the first race, when it got underway, I didn't get the best start. It sort of set me back quite a bit from Jaden, which makes it really hard. And as you can see here, the front wheel jumps up a little bit and I lose quite a bit of drive. But that's just part of it, and those are the things you've got to learn from. But altogether, the race was positive. I managed to slightly better my personal best time there. But like I said before, it's just losing that first bit of gap to the leader. It kind of makes it quite hard to close that gap, and it can be just difficult in a sense that you don't know where they're getting away. But it was still a positive race, and I was happy to learn a lot.
Okay, so you like your attitude. You, no matter what the situation is or what the outcome is, you have a positive aspect to it. You take a positive out of it, you learn from it, and then you apply that to the very next race that you go out with. So, okay, race 2. Let's talk about that. How did you go with that?
So once again, I didn't get the best start. It sort of put me that sort of awkward bike lengths behind Jaden in front, but I managed to get better my time again quite a bit, and was really happy with that. And I actually managed to get on behind him, and I think I made a few passes, as we might see in the footage coming up, which was really positive. I was actually able to be close enough to be within striking distance, and I was just hitting all my lines, and realized where he was faster, and I started making those changes to try and bring my lap times down. And I was learning a lot. But the last lap board came out a bit quick, and I didn't have the ability to be able to strike and make a pass on the last lap. But that's how it is, and I was second and be that close because never been that close before. And it really gave me a bit of hope and a lot of data to learn. But I'm leading into it. The bike setup, I wasn't quite happy with it, and it was after this race me and Dad made a change. It was only a small change, but it was enough to give me a really good feeling in the third race.
Are you going to share what that change was?
Oh, it was just a change on the front suspender. Get rid of some of those harsh braking bumps or not braking bumps as such, but the bumps that you feel in the corners at Collie, because you get those bumps and it can sort of throw you off with your or with your line, and you sort of can't really attack the corner as much because obviously when the front wheel's bumping up and down, you lose a bit of confidence with the wheels unloading and loading, and it's not a great feeling.
Okay, so 2 races down, there's 1 to go. You still got to win one. The deal hasn't changed until the start of the day. There's still 1 out of the 3. Going into the last race, how did you feel? Are you starting to now get quite nervous, quite anxious? Are you still calm? How are you feeling?
Before the race, I was I wouldn't say I was nervous, but I knew what was on the line, and I knew that it was now or never. I really had to put my head down, my bum up, and get to it. And yeah, that's what I did. And I got a wouldn't say it was a good start, but it was an improvement from the last couple, and I was quite close on the last few laps. No, for all the laps really. And yeah, I just made sure I hit my lines and did what I needed to do because I knew that the gap to third place was quite big. And yeah, I just focused on the bikes in front of me, and yeah, just made sure that I did everything I could to be close enough to have a chance in the last lap to get a win.
And you really did leave it to the last lap, didn't you? I was watching, for those that don't know, I've spent the last 3 weeks in hospital. I had both my knees replaced, so I was watching this race from my hospital bed and via Natsoft, and thank you to them, racing.natsoft.com.au. You go to their website and you can follow the racing. They put up the live times as the racer crosses the start finish line. You get to see their position in the race and their lap times and all that sort of stuff. And I was following the racing via that. And the first race, I could see that you were a bit behind it quite a bit, and I was thinking that's going to take a bit of catching up. Second race, you were a little bit closer, but in the last race, yeah, you were close right from the very start, and it was quite exciting to watch. But every time you crossed the finish line, you were still coming second. You're still coming second, and then you crossed the start finish line for the very last time, leading into the final lap, and you're in front, just a fraction in front, and it was quite exciting. If it wasn't for my knees, I probably would have jumped out of bed. So it was a quite exciting way to watch it. So you win that race, you won the one of the three, you've done that deal, you closed that. What does that mean now? You go into the final round at Carco Raceway in November 13. What does it mean? You're going to have to go out there and win how many races? 1, 2, 3. What do you have to do to defend your championship?
So what I need to do is go out there and win all three races. That way I'll have enough points and I'll be able to catch up the deficit and then improve. So yeah, moral of the story is I need to win all three races and really focus leading into it to get a bike setup that I can work with, which we think we've already got that. And yeah, just need to do my best and hit all my lines and let what happens happen.
Speaking about the bike setup, obviously lots of mechanical setup you need to do, but one thing that's been done already, and I like the look of it, is the new paint job. Love the green. Let me just go back to that other shot.
Yeah, did a bit of a paint job in the workshop here with Dad, and yeah, it was happy with it the way it turned out, and yeah, it was a good experience and a lot of work.
Yeah, looks fantastic, and it really stands out that colour green. You can really see it as you're going around the track. All right, so now you have to win all these races in round 6 of the championship. How are you going to prepare? Anything different that you're going to do for preparation leading into this final round than you would normally do, or just as a business as usual?
I think it's an important aspect to try and keep it business as usual. So it's just another day at the track, nothing special. Just let it be the way it's always been, which makes it a familiar environment, which is always good, I'd say. But I think the main thing is just trying to keep physically fit. Obviously, is a big component to racing, and yeah, just track days with track action to dial in the setup and get me the best ready I can be.
We look forward to hearing more about lead up to the round 6 of the championship in a couple of weeks' time. We've run out of time. We didn't have a chance to talk about the 600cc. So next week we'll talk about that, because you did quite well in the 600cc, and I believe in the C grade you're actually leading in the points going into the final round. So we need to talk about that. And also recently you raced in the Nostalgia Racing. So I want to talk about that as well. So yeah, Jordan, a lot to talk about in our next show. Just before we sign off on this show, anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, of course. I'd like to thank Go Moto Store for the help and support down at Collie, namely Andrew and all the pit crew for talking through bike setup with the bikes and getting the bikes ready for racing and all the the little finicky things that they need to do to make the weekend run smoothly. I'd also like to thank Track Action for the track days or the track events that they run. It's really helpful being able to get out on the track and learn it. I'd also like to thank Speedfit, of course, for keeping me fit and ready to ride, and of course InView TV for their coverage this season. And I'd like to say a special mention to a few people, mum and dad, of course, for taking me down to the track and allowing me to do what I do. I know it's not easy for them, and I really appreciate their help. I'd also like to a bit of special thanks to a team member, Warren French, for keeping my head in the game on the weekend. He sort of kept me thinking about it and telling me what I needed to do. And he really kept my head in the game, and I think it paid off in the end.
Thanks, Jordan. We'll see you next week when we talk about the 600cc racing and the nostalgia, and then more about the lead up to the final round. Talk soon. Bye-bye.
So yeah.
It's all about